slept with another woman while me and my wife were separated. Update. I didn't expect to be making another post so soon after the last one, but I urgently need advice. Thanks to everyone who commented on my last post, it was extremely helpful and I understand why I shouldn't have tried to escape the label of cheater. I don't know why I thought that somehow I didn't fit the criteria. Anyway, on to the issue that I need help with. My wife asked me to set up a meeting with AP. I told I would do it just to keep her okay for the moment, but I have serious concerns. I have been NC with AP for 2 months since I blocked her number. The last phone conversation we had, she told me that I had to tell my wife or she would, for moral reasons and concern for my wife, and that if it didn't work out to call her after I was completely over the relationship with my wife. She also expressed that she felt that I had used her as I mentioned in my first post and that she was very hurt by what I did. She has not made any effort to contact me since. I hope that she's been doing her own healing and moving on. I don't see what my wife stands to gain from meeting AP. Like, what would they discuss? AP is not the one that hurt her or betrayed her. I did that. It's annoying that my wife is avoiding all serious conversation with me, but she is willing to have a conversation with someone who is irrelevant. Somebody told me in the last comments to stand by my woman, and I want to do that. I want to show her that she is my only priority, my only love, my everything, and that I will fight for her and with her to save this marriage if she chooses to stay with me. But why do we have to stand up against AP, who is another innocent person suffering from my actions? I just don't see how AP is relevant. How her appearance, her nationality, her anything is factors into saving our marriage. AP is a human being who loved me, who was lied to by me, and tossed aside by me. I am conscious that I have caused her harm and I don't see why we should disturb her life for this. She owes us nothing. Before people get angry, I'm not putting her above my wife, and I never, ever will. As aware I am of the hurt I have caused AP, that's all I am, aware, not distraught over it. When I think about what I did to my wife and how she is feeling, I feel physically sick, like that butterfly feeling when you are going to throw up, and I think about what I did to her every waking second of the day and every sleepless second of the night. I am trying everything I can to empathize with her. I read posts on Reddit from people who have been cheated on explaining how they felt and what they are going through, and I've downloaded a book recommended by somebody on here about helping your spouse recover from your infidelity, as she is not letting me in right now. People are telling me on here that my wife will never be the same and that I've essentially murdered her. This makes me want to actually unalive myself, no exaggeration. The idea that my happy-go-lucky, cheerful, funny, excitable and loving girl is gone forever because of me is too much to bear. I will do whatever it takes to make this right and to make her happy. I don't care to ever see AP or talk to AP again. If AP instigated a fight, I would back my wife, of course, and if my wife did the instigating, I would also back my wife, but do you think it's worth trying to stop her from instigating if I don't see the reasoning behind it? I hate the idea of these two women getting angry at each other and upset at each other over something that I did to them, even though I am conscious of the fact the AP is nowhere near as moral as my wife is in this situation for sleeping with a married man with kids in a different country. Like, who would want to be with a guy that isn't living in the same country as his kids and seeing them regularly? AP loved me when I was the most wrongful and corrupt version of myself. I think my stepmother trauma is shining through right now. Part of the reason why my wife waited 6 months before she took me back was because she was disgusted by the father I became. She needed to see me there every day for all 6 of them and making them my top priority. The day she took me back was the day she saw me cry when my 2-year-old daughter called me Baba, Dad in Arabic, for the first time, and put her arms out to me when she saw me, as when I first returned from America she didn't know who I was, coupled with the fact that I was barely home at times she was awake when we lived in America, so my youngest didn't feel any connection to me. I feel so guilty because I was there every step of the way for my other kids' childhoods and babyhoods. Proving myself to my oldest kids was very difficult as well. My son, who is 14, was disheartened by my actions, but he was just happy that I came back and that his biggest fear was that I never would. I told him I will never be far away from him again and that I lived for him and his siblings and I would spend the rest of my life doing so. My poor boy started crying and I felt that wave of pain again. My daughter, who is 16, was like my wife. She actually needed to see a change to believe it, and she came around eventually. My 4-year-old, my 8-year-old and my 10-year-old were pretty much over it the second I came home. My God, that age range is hilarious. They have no concept of time and the responsibilities I neglected for so long and how much wrong I did them. But my God, I love my kids so much, and they are only reason I haven't let my guilt lead me down the bad route. Like I said, the man I was in New York was selfish, neglectful, hateful, just pure disgusting, and AP loved him. Trust me when I say I have nothing for her now but a deep wish to never reunite with her again in the street, which is a lot more likely in Jerusalem, unfortunately. The point of this is, do you think I should even try explain to my wife why I don't think meeting AP is a good idea or just leave it and go along with this? Also, sorry for the long posts, my wife is pretty much my only friend that I tell my deep hole to, and I'm sure not gonna try and talk out my emotional pain at seeing the pain I caused my wife with her. So I'm doing it with strangers on the internet at 3 a.m. Thank you very much for reading, and I'd love as much advice as possible.